Do you have trouble really owning your inner power? Are you afraid of it? In this video, I'm going to be explaining exactly what our inner power is, why we resist it so much, because that's why so many of us get stuck and don't move forward in life because we're afraid of it. I'm going to be talking about why you need to own it. And then at the end, I'm going to be doing a bit of a clearing on some of the blocks that you might have to really aligning with this power inside yourself so you can create the life that you're meant to live. My name's Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get started, I just want to let you know I'm doing a few more free breakthrough calls. There's a link pinned in the comment section below. So what is a breakthrough call? Well, it's a 30-minute call where we get on Zoom and I just help you go over your vision for your life with you. So we look at what it is that you're wanting to create, what you're inspired by, and then I just help you get into some of the blocks underneath that are stopping this from happening. And then I help you troubleshoot some options that you can look at so that you can iron these things out and align with your highest vision finally. Okay, so our inner power is one of the biggest issues that we all struggle with. So many of us are deathly afraid of our power. Now, before I get into what our power is, why we're afraid, what we need to do, etc., I want to talk briefly about resistance. Because the topic of resistance is everything. So you may have heard this before, maybe you haven't. What resists persists. What we resist persists. So on an energetic level, anytime we resist anything, it gets bigger. Anytime we try to suppress something or stuff it into a closet or into a drawer, it expands and it gets bigger and it starts yelling at us to get our attention. So the way you get out of anything, any emotional state, mental state, or life state, is to accept it, is to be okay with it. If you think of Chinese finger cuffs, this is a good example. When you put them on, if you start to immediately kind of try to yank your fingers out of them, the cuffs tighten and you get stuck. It's only when you relax and let go that you can start to slip out. This is the same with everything in life. Okay, so now let's start with what is your inner power? What is it? Well, your inner power is, the Taoists would describe it as your chi. So it's your life force, it's your essence, it's your connection to your higher self, to your soul, to the universe. Ultimately, your inner power is simply unconditional love and consciousness. But everything within you, all mental states, all emotional states, all physical states are an aspect of this power. Now, they can be broken into pieces. They can be separated from us because of trauma. We can perceive them through judgment in various ways that turn them into a bad emotion like fear or anger or guilt or shame. And it's important to start to identify where these judgments have been placed for us. But the answer is always acceptance and love and being okay with all these parts of ourselves and knowing that ultimately they all just come from this consciousness of love. And as we begin to embrace them, they start to harmonize and we come back into wholeness and we begin to ignite, relate to, and embody our power. Okay, so why are we so afraid of our inner power? Because so many of us, the reason that we get stuck in our lives, the needle doesn't move, is because we're resisting our own power. And in order to get into this, I'm going to talk a little bit about this class I'm taking. So I'm taking a jester class at a clown school. I started going to clown school at the beginning of the year. It's something that I always felt very called to. I've always loved, I'm a stand-up comic, to an extent, and I've always loved, really creative types, artists, comedians, etc. But I always had this vision for myself of being completely free, like mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that archetype of like the enlightened sort of clown or jester is what always felt the best to me. I always had this idea of what if the Joker from Batman was actually a good person. He was a light worker, you know. So I know when people think of clowning or a clown, they just kind of think of the person with the white face and the red nose in the circus. But it is so much more than that. It's a very deeply and profoundly spiritual philosophy that not necessarily everybody understands. But going back to the Native American tribes, they would have what they would call hayokas, which were the sacred clowns. And in the tribes, the sacred clown or the hayoka had three functions basically. One was to be the comedian, the other was the priest, and the other was the shaman. So this is a very significant role in the tribe. And basically what the clown would do was kind of take anything that was too extreme or getting too serious or too pompous or whatever and reverse it back into neutrality. It was the role of the clown was to keep the cosmos in balance. And a lot of the sacred clowns they'd mimic, you know, people in power. They'd speak truth to power. They'd kind of mock or mimic or laugh at people when they were taking themselves too seriously. They would serve as mirrors to show other people where they were out of balance, where their egos were getting too big, to bring them back into that kind of childlike divine joke, cosmic joke sort of space. Okay, now there's the clown and there's the jester, and this relates very much to this inner power thing. The clown's basic energy is innocence, but the jester's energy is mischief. So one saying that sums it up is, the world laughs at the clown, but the jester laughs at the world. So I've taken clown classes, but now I'm taking a jester class. And the thing with the jester is the jester often kind of walks on the line of sanity. The jester can slip a little bit into madness in channeling the sort of mischievous jester spirit. He's on the edge between like order and chaos, and sometimes likes to tip into chaos. But we were having this conversation in class the other day, and this one woman brought up this point of like how she was afraid to really let go and channel that element of chaos because of what would happen. And this speaks so pointedly to why so many of us are afraid of our power, because we're afraid if we really let go and allow this source to flow through us, we might go crazy. We might lose it. We might hurt somebody. Can you relate to that? This is something that I have struggled with for my entire life. And this gets into, you know, through, if you want to speak through the lens of like past lives and your soul's journey, there are so many of us who, being on this planet in the dark for so long, have done that. We've gotten obsessed with power. We've been in occult circles or, you know, royal circles or political circles where our egos got too big and we lost our shit and we went nuts. I have been not the Caligula, but my soul has gone Caligula mad in other lifetimes. So owning my power has been something that's absolutely terrifying to me, because I don't want to ever misuse it or lose it or hurt anybody. This is very deep in all of us. But the point I want to make about this is, one, as far as like past lives and soul's journey and etc., if that has happened to you before, it's okay, because it was supposed to. We're here to learn balance and where the center is, and you can't really learn where the center of or where the line is until you cross it. So if you've crossed it, great. You fulfilled that part of the journey. Now it's time to find the center. But the main point I want to talk about here is the reason we go crazy, the reason we lose it, the reason people just lose their shit most of the time is because of suppression. It's because they're holding things in and they're not owning them. They're not present with them. They're not dealing with them. When people go into a fit of rage and beat the shit out of a group of people or something worse, it's generally because there's been all this trauma and anger underneath the surface that they've just been stuffing down and stuffing down and stuffing down, and one day they just snap. So when you understand that the resistance is what creates that loss into chaos beyond any irretrievable measures, then you can begin to work with it and know that as you embrace all of your emotions, as you embrace your anger, as you embrace your fear, and you accept all parts of yourself with the intention to own your power, you're actually healing and you're more in control. We're also afraid of our power because we're afraid to let go and connect to source because we feel so deeply unworthy. And the ultimate letting go is a surrender to unconditional love. And that's the other part of it. But the reason we're afraid is because all these parts are in the dark and they haven't connected to source. So the solution is the same. So that brings me to my next point. Why do you need to own your power? Why is it so important? Well, one is that's the only way you can heal. Because it doesn't matter if you stuff something into a compartment or into a briefcase or into the closet or into a drawer. It's still part of you and it's still there. You will never fully separate from it. You can just close your eyes and pretend it's not you. But that all comes from judgment because we've been taught that if we're angry or frustrated or ashamed or guilty, that's bad. Or if we did something in our past, that's bad and we're going to go to hell. All of the judgment is what gets us suppressing ourselves and then not healing and then not aligned with the light of God. So you need to own your power because that's how you get better. That's how you go piece by piece through yourself and find all of these parts that have been disavowed or have been taught that they were wrong and bring them into harmony. That's alchemy. That's what we're all here to do, is to alchemize all of our energy until we start to resonate as a full, complete being with source, with the kind of being in the center of love and freedom. That's our role as humans. The other reason you want to own your power is because that's where your purpose is. That's where your gifts are. That's where the motivation, the inspiration, and the force that's going to take you into the part of your life that you want is hiding. So what happens is a lot of times we're stuck and miserable because we have all these judgments about ourselves that we were conditioned to have from childhood, religion, etc. We feel guilty, we feel afraid, we feel ashamed. We're afraid we're going to lose control. And so we keep pushing these parts of ourselves down and away. And eventually it turns into this sort of volcanic implosion of energy where we can start to go a little bit mad. Maybe not insane asylum mad, but we go crazy in our mind. We go crazy with our emotions. We hate our life. We're miserable every day, and yet we keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again because we're afraid of what's on the other side. We do kind of lose our shit within ourselves. Now, before I get into the little bit of the clearing, the last point I want to make for this video is that the way that we get out of this is to start really acknowledging all parts of ourselves as being valid and really acknowledging all of your wants, your needs, and your desires. Because there are so many things that we've wanted that we didn't get, or so many things that we've wanted that we were taught were wrong or bad. And that energy of judgment that's come so pervasively from our society and from religion is what really serves to lock or facilitate us locking those parts of ourselves in the dark and resisting them until they start screaming for our attention. So when you just begin to have a practice every day of asking yourself what it is that you need, what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, what it is that you didn't get as a child, and honoring all of that, you begin to heal. There's a reason you're angry. There's a reason you're afraid. And when you alchemize that through acceptance, it transforms just into power, into that infinite love, consciousness, chi, vitality that you then can guide in whatever direction you're meant to guide it in because you're aware of it and in control of it by allowing it. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a quick little energy clearing, releasing on blocks to owning your power. There's a lot more to this, but we're just going to cover just briefly just a little bit in this. So just take a moment. You can relax, close your eyes if you want, ask your higher self or whatever it is that you believe in for, for guidance, assistance, and to come into the clearing. And just give permission for all these different locks, subconsciously and energetically, that you've put on your energy, which is your power, to come up and release in a way that's safe and healthy at the proper pace for you. And just start to feel in your body where you feel tightness, where you feel resistance, where you feel judgment in your nervous system. It could be in your chest, your stomach, your hips, your head. It can be everywhere. Your kidneys. And just give permission to your higher self to take all of these blocks that no longer serve you and let them go. And just breathe for a minute. It's an energy clearing, so it's just gonna clear as you just spend time with it. And just start to notice where you feel any emotion whatsoever, whether it's positive or negative. And I just want you to start to embody or adopt the mantra that it's okay. It's okay to feel. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to have negative emotions. If you start to have a negative thought and you're trying to manifest something, you can't just stop it and be like, oh, I can't have this thought. Negative thoughts are bad. That just makes it worse. That's resistance. If you have a negative thought, the way out of that is to just be like, well, it's okay to have a negative thought. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just energy. See all parts of yourself, your body, your spirit, your soul, your past life history, your nervous system, as valid and as okay. And give permission to just begin the process of embracing, integrating, and alchemizing these different pieces, thoughts, emotions, etc. And just allow any more releasing. You can just imagine energy coming out your hands or out your feet. If you feel some pent-up energy or emotion, you can visualize it coming out the top of your head. You want to just let it out and send it to its proper place in the universe. Good. And then start to just notice any flow, notice any movement, notice your feet on the floor, notice the connection to the chair you're sitting in. Really notice what it feels like to just sense your body and to embrace it. The body is the key to your healing. It's the key to all dimensions of your healing. And then we're just going to ask your higher self to bring in the vision of what it would look like and feel like for you to be whole, in full alignment with your inner power, your inner authority, in a healthy, balanced way. What does that look like? What does that feel like? We're going to ask for some energetic guideposts, templates, grids to be put in your field to show you on the New Earth timeline what that would look like and feel like for you. And just give permission for that to come in, and it will start to inform your energy. It will start to inform your nervous system. It will start to inform your healing process. And just walk with you and carry with you the belief that all parts of you are valid and are okay. And whatever you've done in the past, in this life, other lives, on some cosmic level, it's all valid. There may be things you don't want to do again. That's good to know, discernment. But everything can be forgiven and released and brought into harmony. And good. And so it is, so it is, so it is. You can just take a little bit of time with that. Please let me know if you have any comments, revelations, questions, breakthroughs in the comment section. I very much appreciate everybody who watches these videos. Thank you so much. I look forward to next time, and that's all. Bye-bye.